Great to be here, guys. And when the guys said to me that I could come and talk about search, I got really excited because I love nothing more than talking about search. Search is close to my heart. I've worked in SEO and optimization for 15 years. We've built an engine that sits on 50 billion bits of data, pretty much tracking every single website on the planet in real time right now. So the stuff I'm going to talk through today, it basically comes from factual evidence. Now, I haven't got a lot of time, so in an ideal world, I basically want to keep you here overnight and talk about optimization and talk about canonicalization and hreflang and tell you everything you need to do to make sure that you are position one in Google or Baidu or Yandex and whichever country, but we haven't got all night. But if I had 1 minute, and I know I've only got about 20, if I had 1 minute, I would, and I will get there, I'd say that if you've got a website and you want to get to the top of page one, let's talk about Google. The one thing you need to do is get right inside the mind of your customer or your searcher. Ask yourself, what search terms are they going to use to find my site? What search criteria and what are they going to look there for when they get there? And use this as the basis for theming all of your pages by creating unique doorways and focusing on a title tag. But we haven't got 20 minutes, we haven't got 1 minute, we've got 20 minutes, so I'm going to go through three things.
It's broke, so you're going to just tell us now.
Oh right, yeah, that's great. That's technology. Okay, three things. I'm going to talk about Google's evolution and where it's come from over the years and what's changed about it. And right now, today, we're at a tipping point in Google's evolution that is going to make or break businesses over the next 2 or 3 years. Not yet. Ruined it all. So, in the middle, I'm going to talk, and I didn't want to just give you some SEO stuff that you can find on Google, talk about title tags and header ones and site maps and pagination. You can Google that stuff. I want to show you in the middle what's wrong with optimization right now. Companies all over the world are throwing away millions because they're getting their content wrong. Not the amount of content, but what they're doing with it. And I'll show you some real examples, some I dug up yesterday. And then I need to talk about the future. So, Google's changed a lot, okay? It used to be about blue links, boring blue links. Then as we moved on, universal search came along, images, video, Twitter carousels and pictures and knowledge cards and answer cards, and it's changed, okay? And we have to react to that. In the middle we've got algorithm updates, Panda, which came out and was designed to penalise thin content websites. This hit big websites. I don't want to name any names, but lots and lots of big magazine sites that put advertising. Google doesn't like too much advertising. It pushes the content down. Now it's thin and you lose visibility. It's a big part of the algorithm. Penguin came along and penalised all those people who bought inbound links, paid for links, because what was happening here? The actual organic results in Google essentially started to become paid for. So Google launched Penguin, and that was the end of that. But if we go to the next slide, for me, the exciting bit started here with voice search. So if you've got your mobile, I don't know, I'm one of the oldest in the room, I think. Do you use voice search? Anybody use voice search? No? Kids do. I've got a 13-year-old son walking around and he uses voice search. All kids, 13, they hold their phone like that, probably because they watch The Apprentice. Voice search, vital. Then Google, a few years back, about 4 years ago, launched a new algorithm. They called it Hummingbird. It's small and it's agile. And this was designed not just to look at keywords, but to try and understand the intent of the user. What does John really want when he's searching? And then, to back that up, they built a knowledge graph based on wiki data, and then pulled in AI in the form of this thing called RankBrain that's attempting to disambiguate complex voice queries. I'm going to talk more about that at the end because that's changing everything. So let's go on. So, what does that mean? It used to, I've got terrible timekeeping by the way, so if anyone, just say speed up. Really, I could go off onto one because this stuff is so exciting. That's what you used to get when you Googled your new iPhone. Boring blue links. This is what you get now. This. We're in tune. This is what you get. You get stories, you get image, you get video, you get these things, you get answer cards. It's easy to get an answer card for your business. Say you work in financial services and people want to know what a hedge fund is or what an ISA is. If you sculpt the content on your page effectively, you appear here. So, and then you've got images, video, and all of that. So this is universal search, and it's there to be manipulated. So let's go to the next one. Why is this important? Well, it's important because your searchers, your customers, your audience, whoever they are looking for different things. Some people just want to see a website. Some people actually want to see Twitter. You know, what's the latest? What's happening today? Some people want answers. Some people want images and videos. So this is not about optimizing just your content and your pages, but you have an ecosystem. So you have to really understand what different people are looking for, create appropriate doorways in the search results, and then critically make connections. These connections are vital. I'll show you a real example later. Connections between these content so that people will come into your world, because they won't land on your homepage, they'll land deep into an optimized page. And then from there they need clear pathways so they can go to something else and discover stuff that's new and relevant and exciting. And we've done this with some of the biggest brands in the world. Okay? And the fact here is, the better we get at making connections between our assets and our content and our ecosystem, including social media, the better Google gets at understanding those relationships and the better our visibility is. This all sounds quite theoretical, but it will all make sense at the end. So let's go on. So the upshot of all of this, and this bit really excites me, the upshot of all of this is that we're creating a huge amount of content. And content, once again, is king or queen, whatever you want. So much so that 40% of online marketing budgets are spent on it. Billions, because everybody knows we've got a website. Oh, let's put some more content up. Oh, our competitors are putting content. Oh, we've heard that Google loves content. Let's spend some more. Here's another $1 million. Let's just get some content up. Small businesses, large businesses, doesn't matter the website, they're getting a lot of content up there. And you know what? They might as well be going up to the roof and throwing a lot of that money off the top, because it's being wasted. I guarantee I'll be waiting at the bottom to catch it. And you know what's going on? Well, before that, why are we making the content? Because we want people to find it through search, to consume it, to share it. And critically, we want to drive up sales and revenues from our content. That's what it's there for. It's not just to look pretty, but it's to drive people into our conversion zone or into our stores offline. But I tell you, I've been looking at content and studying it. I've got some charts for you. If you love charts, I've got some great charts. I absolutely love charts. My fridge is covered in charts. Wife hates it, just pulls them all down. I just put them back up. I've discovered that we're making two big mistakes. And those mistakes are, number one, isolation. When we create content, we're not actually thinking, and a lot of businesses have a lot of different editors and content writers, and they're just creating new content, putting it up there, not thinking what's already on our website that's actually similar, potentially complementary or potentially conflicting. They're also working in isolation from what's indexed in Google. You know, they're not even looking. Have we got similar content that's indexed? And they're not even talking to their colleagues. And on the next slide, the other mistake, we're not curating. So the editors are creating this wonderful content, they're paid X, £100 a day, put it up there. What am I doing today? Oh, I'm writing another piece on this, put that up there. Next day I'm doing this. And I don't even care if it's visible, I don't even care. I might care if I'm on page 1 tomorrow because I've been paid a lot of money to do this, and then 3 weeks later, where am I? Am I still there? Am I still at the top? Or has Google dropped me? Has a competitor come in? Anything going to happen? And people are just ignoring this, as you're about to see. So, we're turning our backs. Now this is what happens. Let's go on to the next slide. The biggest cause, or the biggest problem with turning your back and working in isolation is something called internal conflict, or cannibalization, some people call it. There are 4 types. Today I want to look at the first one. This is the one that you can find and fix. And for the purposes of today, I want to show you one example. I went to Dallas recently to give a talk, and I thought I've got to make a big impact. So I'm going to choose one of the biggest businesses in the US. Okay, let's go on to the next one. And that's Macy's. I was in the US, so I was worried they were going to sue me, so I put large retailer. But it is Macy's. And I've got some more up-to-date UK examples in a second. What are we looking at? That's position 1 in Google. That's position 100. That's page 1. Okay? That's page 1. That's June 16 to October 16. Macy's, and I just chose some high volume terms. I don't know, I was thinking about a wedding. I'm married. I wasn't getting married. Although I forgot my anniversary, which is bad. But we've got a whole bunch of really high volume terms here that will drive about 250,000 to 300,000 visits a month on average. Go back to June, they're on page 1. So if you were going to the wedding, you were looking for a cocktail dress and an evening dress and some dresses to wear and a red dress, all that sort of stuff, you'd have found Macy's. Perfect. And then move forward in time, and they're dropping the highest position is there. They're on about page 8. They've lost everything. And I guarantee, you give me a business and I'll show you this happening to them right now. I don't care what sector it is. Okay, why have they lost it? They've done nothing. They've done nothing but abandon their content. They've done nothing but put new content up in isolation. I'll show you. Let's go to the next one. I'll pick one of those terms. And that's, am I going too fast? Okay, great. Okay, wedding guest dresses. This is a big term. It might attract 25 to 30,000 visits. That's a lot of revenue. Now they're on page 1. They're going up and down. See the up and down? Okay, I call that suspicious flux. That doesn't happen for no reason. Something's causing that. You need to monitor the data. They didn't monitor the data. Click to the next one. So what do we got here? Okay, that was the page that was on page 1. And now they've got a very similar wedding guest article on wedding guest dresses for 2016, but they left their 2015 one up. And then Google can't decide. If you don't make it really clear to Google which is the page, which is the doorway, it decides for itself. Most people don't know this happens. So that happens 1, 2, see here, 1 page out, another one in for 2 days. It's like electrons can't exist in the same space. And then we come along here, by this time, here's another page. Oh, and there's red wedding guest dresses, and then there's blue ones and something else. And then Google just clears off. It's just abandon them altogether. And you know what? 225,000 clicks. They probably lost, I don't know, a million, maybe 1.5 million over that month. Unless they spent money on paid search, which they might have done. Think how much that would cost them. I know one famous retailer that had a hideous disaster, and they probably are losing, I don't know, £1 million a week. They plug that gap with paid search. So they say, oh, traffic's the same, but they were buying their traffic. Anyway, let's go on to the next slide. So I thought, I can't just show you American stuff, I'm going to show you something that happened in the UK. This is what happened yesterday. That's John Lewis. What's carnage? I emailed the guy. I said, I found something on your site. Now look, baby clothing, bath mats, bath sheets, boys bedding, crockery, kids. I chose these, they're high volume terms. Okay, December, they were on page 1, generating revenue. People were searching, clicking, going to the site. And then it all falls apart. Why does it all fall apart? I tell you what, I don't know. I don't want to say bad things, but somebody's got their eye off the ball, okay? And you could talk to these guys. They say, yeah, we kind of know. I said, yeah, but I told you about this 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, we're fixing it. Actually, you're not fixing it. All you're doing is throwing money off the roof. That's what you're doing. Because if you're not visible in organic search, and below there is no visibility. No one goes to page 2. You're buying it with paid search. And people are happy to spend $1 million a month, $2 million a month. Yeah, I've got my big paid search budget. Okay. And this is happening because, say, living room lighting. It exists in 2 parts of the website. They're not linking these together. They're not even thinking about it, and that's caused a problem. And it's so easy to fix. Okay, let's move on. A bank, HSBC. HSBC were position 1, page 1 for best bank. And yeah, you should care about that. Because they pay for all advertising when you get off the plane. It's HSBC. Why shouldn't it be in Google? Brilliant. Then they dropped to page 9 because of an interfering page. And I told them, I went to the tower and told them, not the tower, the HSBC tower. They said, yeah, don't worry about that too much. But all of this fluctuation, next slide, this is the killer. So I want to get a deposit account. Found some money, and I want to deposit it. You know, February, you know, that's like last month, they were really high. Good visibility, getting traffic and making money from their savings accounts as well. And then we come up here, they dropped due to another competing page, probably a PDF, stuck on the site by somebody in marketing who thought that looked fluffy. Yeah, it looks nice, nothing wrong with fluffy marketing stuff, it's all good. And then here, yesterday, they lost their visibility of saving accounts, probably a similar thing. Somebody in some department, somewhere in the bank, said, yeah, let's get this content up without talking to anybody else. So, I'm short on time, aren't I? Am I right?
4 minutes.
4 minutes? Oh my God, can I have 2 extra?
Yes. Yeah.
So, we need to take better care. Last bit's really short, it's 2 minutes. We need to take better care of our content. Let's go. So there are 2 things. Number one, you've got to find this thing that's happening, this internal conflict, and then you've got to fix it. How do you find it? It's easy. Next slide tells you. You just need data. Don't trust somebody coming along giving you a nice report with a straight line, because that straight line might be made up of different URLs or pages, and it's going to end in disaster, it's going to end in tears. Suspicious flux, always investigate it, but you need good solid data. Let's move on. How can you fix it? Don't go yet. Oh, you can get, no, go. Such a nice picture, might as well have it up there. I want to show you somebody who had this problem, created it, and then fixed it. Now this is it's a global brand, travel brand, and they were going to get some advertising about this beautiful place, the Cinque Terre, and so they sent one of their editors out to the Cinque Terre in the Italian Riviera with a load of money and wine and dined and ate pasta, came back about 5 kilos heavier, and then they got all this wonderful content and pictures and threw it on their website. And this is what happened. Their position dropped because they just put it up there. Why did it drop? Because they got conflicting pages. So they said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just, because we're going to generate revenue from the advertiser, we've got to get back up there. So let's just take all that content and shove it up here. And I said, stop. Before you do that, think. Let's go to the next one. These other pages, they might position in their own right. And if we go to the next slide, yeah, they do. They've got a luxury travel guide, so on position 1. They've got a sailing page, that's position 1. The easy way to fix this is to make it clear to Google. And this is what we do. Oh, back one. Perfect. Intrasite linking. I said the way we connect our assets together is so important. Intrasite linking. This is why you never use click here. This is why you never use more. This is why you never use others. Vague stuff like that. Make it explicitly clear to Google. So all we did was say, well, there's your new Cinque Terre content that messed everything up. You know what? You've got these other wonderful pages. Don't get rid of them. Don't redirect them. But link up using the Cinque Terre as your anchor text. Link down, make it clear to Google, that's dining out. Because Google's obsessed with anchor text. I could tell you some great stories about anchor text, but I know I haven't got time. I really would love to tell you one by one. That's a luxury guide, so we're actually using proper anchor text and proper page theming, but I mean a title and a header to leave Google in no doubt. What happens? They go back up to higher than they were before. Because Google, you know, sometimes I wish they'd stop trying to get to the moon and build driverless cars and fix their algorithm, because it's really, really struggling and we really have to work hard. But it's basic stuff, linking. So finally, with anything else, I'm not going to talk about that, I'll show you the next slide. You know what? I was never going to take you through that, but if you want it, I'll give you that. That took a long time to put together, and it shows you how to stop it happening in the first place. It's a great flow chart, and it's been tried and tested with some really big businesses to great success. So finally, in the last 2 minutes, I've got to talk about this, otherwise I won't sleep tonight. I'd like to have talked about this the whole time, but the future, and I'm going to give you an example, because next one, please. This, by 2020, 50% of searches will be voice. That was a big study done by Microsoft, and that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And for those who don't believe it, think back to when they said the same about text. We're all going to be sending text messages and get charged for them. And people say, no, they're just used by the phone engineers. Look what happened. So, I'm going to tell you a very quick story. Okay, I was on the next slide. Okay, we have these in our houses now. We will have next week because Google Home's coming out in the UK. Okay, Google Home, we're going to talk to it. We talk to loads of stuff in the house. You know, the connected house is going to be right there before we know it. You know, you talk to your bank, you can voice recognition passwords. So we're getting used to voice. Kids are using voice. So I was walking down Shaftesbury Avenue with my son, who's 13, and it was Sunday morning, about 9:30, and he said, we're going to the Forbidden Planet, geeky comic store. And he said, Dad, 1 minute left. Did that on purpose. So we were walking down Shaftesbury Avenue. And he said, are you sure it's open, Dad? I said, yeah, of course I'm sure. It's 10:30, it's a Sunday, everything's open. I don't come into London that much, you can see. And so I'm up front going, what time does the Forbidden Planet open? Okay, 48 characters, including spaces, to get to the answer. Right? Because I'm old and I text like this with big thumbs. So, little dude behind me, little smart ass, walking on, doing the apprenticing. What time does the Forbidden Planet open on a Sunday? And it just says, Forbidden Planet opens at 11 o'clock. I didn't even get to the answer. I actually got different results. The thing there is that, because they coded their page up well, they used schema markup, we both wanted the same thing, but we took different routes to get there. And I saw something very different to what he saw, because he's living in the future and I'm still living in the past. One last example, we'll go through this quickly. I went to give a talk in Paris, and they said, and Charlie said, are you going to go see the Eiffel Tower? So I said, well, he'd never been there. So I said, Google. I said, okay, Google, show me some pictures of the Eiffel Tower. That comes up. Next one, okay. I said, how tall is it? And then the next one, which street is it in? Notice, I'm not even talking about the Eiffel Tower anymore. Okay, subject, predicate, object. Google knows what I'm talking about. So as we go on to the next slide, go 1, 2, 3, broke down there. What's happening here? I'm no longer just clicking on sites. I'm starting to have a relationship with Google. I'm having a relationship with this robot. I'm going on a journey. Who gets my click? The site with the right sort of content that's got inside, remember I said at the start, the searcher's mind, and understood all the possible questions they might have on their journey to the destination and answer those. Because people are no longer going to click on the first thing that they see. And I've got some research, and if anybody wants it, I'll send it to you, on this tipping point. Google is getting better at disambiguating complex search criteria. You search for yoga class London with your thumbs, you get less results. You search for, where can I find a yoga class in London? You get different results. Telegraph is top for the second one. There's a most popular yoga school in London for the first one. The fact here is, if they don't do something about it, and we go over the tipping point, and everybody's doing voice, they're not going to get found. They're going to lose that traffic. 20, 50%, you know, your business is going to really struggle. So finally, I've just got a final slide of stuff. I'm not going to go through it, but I say, stay inside the mind of your searchers. Ask yourself, what are they searching for? Theme your pages in that way. I can send you information on theming and all that sort of stuff. Don't work in isolation. Cannibalization of content is rife, and people are losing a fortune. Think about answering users' questions and check your voice visibility. That's really straightforward, but I won't even go on anymore. I'll end it there. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.